someone to lend an ear. Are you having a cloudy day? Has it rained on your parade? We're in the basement with the Mclemore. Let the truth come out. I got sunshine in my smile, and maybe we can sit and chat for a while. Are you feeling misunderstood? And nothing's going good in your hood. We're in the basement with the Mclemore. Let the truth come out. Let me pour you a drink. Just relax on your face. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Bryant Mclemore Smith, and guess where you are? You're in the basement with Mclemore, where the truth comes out. As a matter of fact, this is the best show on Monday at 5 o'clock, probably because it's the only show on Monday at 5 o'clock. So you guys have an amazing time. This is Pride Month. I'm excited about Black Gay Pride, about Pride. And I call this show Playing with Politics, which is what I'm going to be doing today, is politicking. I've got some of my amazing friends in our LGBTQ plus community that are going to be on the show today. First of all, I want to take some time out and tell my co-host, Steven, to have a good time out there on the beaches of Mexico or wherever he is. He sent us a picture with him perusing and smiling with all these half-naked people behind him. I don't know what kind of beach they had, but apparently he's having a good time at it. So, Steve, your show misses you. Enjoy yourself. Also out to my previous program director and co-host, Mr. Harold Abrams, I wanted to say hello. Congratulations on your series venture. Harold got picked up on writing a television series, and that's why he hasn't been on the show with us in a little over a year. But great endeavors and great things are happening to everybody on the show. Today we want to talk a little bit about the Pride, Chicago Black Pride that starts on Friday, July. I think it's like the 1st of July. And their kickoff is the State of the Black LGBTQ. It's a party that sponsored by Deviant. And I think that takes place at DU or C, yeah, at the DU. And I don't know what that is, but you guys will have to look it up. Then I'm going to the annual White Party, and that's on the 2nd. And, that's where all the brothers of distinction get together, and they dress in white, and we have a good time, and it's all adult fun. And then, of course, on Sunday, they have the Sunday Black Pride and the Ubuntu in the Park. So you guys got to Google that with ChicagoBlackPride.com. Find out exactly what those addresses are and where everybody's going to take place. But without further ado, on today's show, I have got Jaylin McClinton running for Cook County Commissioner, and I've got Precious Brady-Davis and Sergio, and I've got all of these amazing people. So we're going to start bringing them on. And my special guest today is a young lady, our musical guest. Her name is Sam. She's a 20-year-old guitar player, and she's going to come on and be mentored as well by Charmaine DuPont. So without further ado, let's get started within the basement with Mclemore, guys, where the truth comes out. Let me bring on my first guest. Let's see if we can bring Sergio into the picture. And look at you. Hey, what's up?
Good evening. How you doing in the basement?
I'm in the basement, I'm trying to keep it on the up and up.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here tonight or this evening.
Yeah, that's good. We're almost going to be on tonight. Sergio, it was such a pleasure meeting you and just going through some of your background. You've been in the education business about 25 years or more, like educating babies.
From preschool all the way to 10th grade, I've taught and multiple subjects from computers, math, science, literature, writing. Yeah, it's been a fantastic journey, really, going through being a student teacher and what that's about, working with young people, working with families and parents. When you go
Yeah.
into teaching, you don't realize that it's just not the child. Good teaching involves extensions outside, and you want to bring in the families as well. So that's been one of the neatest things, because you get to see young people start when they get you kind of goofy, right? And by the end of the year, you know that you played a part in them and who they are, and the betterment, hopefully, of who they are.
Yeah. That's cool. What are some of your challenges when it comes to teaching today's youth? I mean, because you've actually started off with a youth that was a little bit more home raised and home oriented, to children that just get packed off to you to babysit. So
Well, so I would say some of the biggest challenges is I don't think education has caught up with technology, right? We have kids that are so well versed in how to use technology, YouTube. There was one young lady in particular, amazing young lady during the pandemic. She made $30,000 selling eyelashes on YouTube.
what?
Yes,
$30,000?
she had a following. She created a market, and then people just started texting her, and whatever she did. Yaya, if you're out there, I never got my lashes. No, but it's amazing, right? Our young people know so much, and often we're still trying to pretend that they're in a one-room farmhouse school, and education sometimes seems to be more about compliance and not about liberty, freedom, and expression. And this young lady, she was able to do it without us.
Wow.
And tell me how many 18-year-olds, entrepreneurs using the internet, she created this little industry for herself, a little economy for herself. So we need to have education be more exciting like that.
Yeah.
It's not just literature and movies, and the way the technology is just kind of rolling is where I'm going with. We need to make sure we're enticing our young people and exciting our young people to learn.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. That's an amazing story. I was just looking at some of the stuff that you had done in your past, and how you developed into this amazing person that I met the other night. And I'm so glad that I got a chance to meet you, and that you took me serious about the show, because I'm not really politically astute about anything, but this is the first year that I've really delved into what politicking is all about, uh, why we need to know who our candidates are and know what they're going to bring to the table. So give me a little bit about what you're running for and what you're planning to
Okay.
bring to the table, specifically for our community, the brown and the black and the LGBTQ community.
For sure. Well, I've been an educator for 25 years, like you said. For the past 8 years, I've been I've been a school leader. 3 years as an assistant principal, and 5 years as a principal of Roberto Clemente High School, in the heart of the city. And so, one of the things that makes me different is, one, I'm the only Latino, the only Afro-Puerto Rican, the only educator, and the only queer person running in this seat. And for me, those intersectionalities allow me to travail between groups of people. We talk about code switching, where there's like cultural code switching, which also allows me to have a cultural understanding in many ways, of all of our nuances, and working
Right.
with families from multi-income families, multi-racial families, and
Yeah.
and what's specific to that, and the beautiful things about that. I hope to be able to bring to this seat. So this seat is the longest consecutively held LGBTQ seat in the nation.
Wow. Wow. That's
So
amazing.
I'm looking to, continue that. But being queer is not enough. I think my record of being a principal and working within a community where we increased graduation rates, we lowered out of school suspensions, that so much that even Chicago Public Schools was suspect. And I was like, no, 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 come on. Look under the hood. Look at what we're doing, because we were really
Right.
working with young people and relationships. And when you start developing genuine relationships, not here's your grade, get out of my room, behave better, but really caring about the young person, and caring about families, then you start seeing positive outcomes. And I believe the same thing is true when you're running for government and when you're working for the people. You have to make sure that you're plugging in with the people, and that
Yeah.
starts with relationships. I'm no better than anybody else, but I'm strong and powerful enough to help carry our voice. And that's what I want to be able to do.
That's amazing. So how the big day is on the 24th? Is that correct in June?
No, you are the big day.
28th.
The 28th, yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah, the
yes.
28th. I'm kidding. The 28th is the date that you guys need to vote. And what would they be punching for you?
I tell people punch 73 for me. So those of you in the 13th district, punch 73 for me.
Wow, that's so amazing. I'm so excited for you, and I'm glad to be part of the platform. So what would be your support? Like what would we have to do just as laymen to support you outside of voting for you? How is there a process that we could come through to volunteer? Is there a place that we could go or that we could tell my listeners to go to assist you in what you need to have done?
Absolutely. There's a couple of things you can do. One, learn about my platform and share, 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 share. Go to Sergio for Illinois, that's FOR, sergioforillinois.org. You can see some of the issues that I'm standing for, public safety issues, education reform, property tax control, so that our property taxes don't continue to push people out of the city. But also, if you want to volunteer, you can go to hello at sergioforillinois.com. Hello, F for Sergio. Hello at Hello at sergioforillinois.com. I've been talking to people all day. You know how it is.
Yeah,
And that would be really helpful. And also, the campaign's not over. Feel free to go to my website and you can donate if you can't show up, if you can't vote for me. I know in Chicago, you can't vote twice all the time, but if you can't vote for me, you can definitely support me financially too. $5 goes a long way. $10, $50, $100 goes a long way.
So you guys heard it right here. So we want to support our candidates. Sergio, why don't you hang around? We've got some more folks to talk to. I think I got Jaylin McClinton in the back room. Let's bring Jaylin on. You guys, thank you so much, Sergio. You just hang in there with you. You'll be part of the show. We got Jaylin McClinton.
Evening. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you, and now we can see you. Hey there, brother. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Thank you for coming on to the show. I'm so excited about you as well. I don't know if you were in the back room and you were able to hear your brother, Sergio, who's like the Brady Bunch boxer up on top of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jaylin McClinton. And Jaylin, I'm so excited as well about your journey, just in some of the back things that you've done. And you're a brother. I'm in Morgan Park, so you and Roseville, you like a shoulder boat right next to me?
Yes.
Give us a little bit of your background and your platform and what you're running for.
Yes. So, hello, everyone. I'm Jaylin McClinton, a candidate for Cook County Commissioner in the 5th District, which covers both Chicago South Side and then the Southland, with municipalities including Alsip, Blue Island, Hazelcrest, Country Club Hills, Dixmoor, Harvey, Dalton, Ford Heights, Midlothian, Crestwood, in the city of Chicago, right? Roseland, Pullman, West Pullman, Outgill Gardens, and Morgan Park. And so this is a big district that we're talking about, and there's a lot of work to do in this district. But as I said when I first met you, Bryant, my story begins at Michael Reese Hospital, where I was born 28 years ago, and I was whisked off to the South Side in Roseland, where I was raised by my mother and grandparents. And it was my grandmother, Bertha, who I think from a very early age really instilled education in me. She moved to Chicago from Mississippi, all with the thought of making sure that her children and eventual grandchildren, because she prophesied that she saw, 50 years later, making sure that her children and grandchildren would have quality education and opportunities, so much so that, I was able to go to college at the University of Illinois and graduated back in 2016. And recently completed law school, which was a very grueling process. And to do it during a pandemic, too, and racial unrest that has been paramount these last 3 years, I think that speaks to just my grit and how much of a hard worker I am. And I plan to bring that to this role if I'm so fortunate enough to be elected in just 15 days. But when we think about my career over the last 6 years in particular, I've focused in on the issues that I personally believe that matter most, as well as public service. So when I graduated from the University of Illinois back in 2016, we were in the midst of a presidential election. And at that point, I wanted to do everything that I could to elect Hillary Clinton. But in the midst of doing that, actually learned that I was accepted to the White House internship program and was whisked off to Washington, D.C. to work for our nation's first Black president. And it was an unpaid experience. When you hear Mrs. Obama talk about White House interns, she often says, well, that means they worked for free. And I did. And I do not come from wealth. And so being in DC for 5 months was tough as an unpaid intern, but I wouldn't trade that experience for anything because I think it really lays the foundation for my strong commitment to public service. Now, in November, an election happened in 2016, and I found myself trying to figure out what it is that I would be doing next. And the election happened. I thought we'd go from a President Obama and building on his legacy in DC with the President Clinton. Of course, we know that did not happen, but it was a speaker series where I ended up meeting Mrs. Obama. And many of the interns would kind of say, oh, I'm from Chicago. And she'd be like, well, where are you from? And then someone would mention a suburb and she'd have to be like, well, baby, that's not Chicago. And so for me, right away, I would mention that I was from Roseland because I knew, just like me, my neighborhood is something that the Obamas were prideful about, having been raised in Chicago proper. And so almost immediately, without flinching, she said, come back to Chicago or go back to Chicago. And that's what I did. From there, worked for Juliana Stratton as her chief of staff. Of course, now she's lieutenant governor. Transitioned to the Obama Foundation, where I worked as a community organizer, working in the community surrounding where the presidential center would be built. And then once I knew that that project was going to happen, made the decision to go to law school, which is something that I really wanted to do since I was 5 years old. And
Wow.
Just finished in May, and during law school, really focused in on all the issues, thank you, that matter to me, right? Accountability in government, making sure that our criminal legal system is just, thinking about consumer protection at the law firm that I work at now, making sure that the corporate powers that be are held accountable. And so all of those values and experiences hovering around the different issues that I care about, whether it's education or climate change and tackling it and making sure we usher in environmental justice, influenced me to run for office. And so in October, I remember sitting at home and getting a notice that my Cook County commissioner was retiring after 28 years of service. And I decided to wait to really see who would jump into the race. And on November 30th, I jumped in myself because, quite frankly, we just cannot afford politics of the past any longer in this region of Cook County. And so when I think about the people in this district, this is a predominantly Black district. And, you know, when we think about our county government, it's an area that in a lot of ways is a shadow government because people don't pay attention to it. And so we really have to make sure that people pay attention to these local levers of government, because on the campaign trail, as I've joked before, you know, I went to law school to get away from math, but I'm still good at math. And so we can run down the numbers, right? 435 members of Congress, 100 US senators, 118 state reps, 59 state senators, 50 city of Chicago aldermen. While progress certainly happens in all of those levers of government, on the Cook County board, there are 17 Cook County commissioners. So for someone like me, I'm pondering the fact that I just have to convince 16 other people to get anything done. And quite frankly, it's only 9 when we start thinking about quorum. And so when I think about equity and justice as it relates to rooting out government fraud, waste, corruption, we can achieve good government in Cook County. When I think about constituent services and being active, we can achieve that and making sure that people actually understand what their Cook County commissioner's job is. When I think about our healthcare system, right, which is the third largest in the country, and there are a lot of people in our community in particular, both Black and LGBTQ, who need access to services. On that Cook County board, I'm going to fight for that. Our criminal legal system, right? As a Black man, that's a system that I've been entangled with since the moment that I, took my first breath. And because of that, I understand the fact that, people who look like me and us as men of color are criminalized from the moment that we're born. And while I want an accountable criminal legal system and public safety apparatus, we have to talk about the harm within the system too. And then just lastly, our environment, right? There are pockets of this district as we speak where there are people who do not have access to clean drinking water or healthy fruits and vegetables. That is not okay. And we have to continue to talk about that and speak out about it, because we know that your environment and the product of your environment is directly connected to crime in a community and why crime happens. And so those are all the reasons that I'm running. And in just 15 days, we can shock the conscience in this region. So if you're out there and you're in the 5th district, punch 121 for Jaylin McClinton.
Yes, my brother. I am. Yeah, we're giving you the whole hands up. I'm so impressed with you and Sergio both. A quick question, and this is a throughout for yourself and Sergio as well. How do each of your positions coincide? Like Sergio, what would you need from Jaylin, and Jaylin, what would you need from Sergio? Or are these two different entities all together that can never work with each other or for each other? Sergio?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, no, these roles should be working in tandem, right? When we think about how government works, I need allies. So I can get some stuff done on the Cook County board, but I hope, to go to Springfield and work with legislators there as well to say, hey, this is what we need up in Chicago. Hey, this is what my district needs. How can we partner on the issues that matter most? And so I view these as collaborative roles. There's certainly different levers of government in the sense that one is state and one is local, but we should view ourselves as partners in how we're addressing the challenges that our communities face, whether it's the Black community, the LGBTQ community. From a jurisdiction perspective, my reach is limited to the county. And Sergio at the state level obviously has a little bit more jurisdiction. And so working together to make sure that policies and laws and the things that we're doing coincide and work in tandem will be critically important.
Wow.
One of the things I've noticed from, and I say it a lot in my campaign, is we don't want them making rules about us without us. And I would imagine the same thing is true even on the state legislature, putting in legislation without connecting with Chicago, creating rules without connecting with the community itself is harmful. We don't really know what's going on a lot of the times because we're in a different location. We need a boots on the ground conversation, and oftentimes commissioners and others that are in the city can help us get the necessary information we need so that when we enact legislation, it's like a beautiful harmony as opposed to just dissonant clang.
Yeah, and that is that's another grassroots issue that I've always had, is to not be a part. People don't know who their alderman is. They don't know where the alderman's office is. They don't know who the police captain is that's in control of their area. They don't know who the trash person is. I mean, so all of this stuff that happens in our communities, we're just riding along on the back of the truck as participants, and nobody knows who's driving. And so, with me being a layman, I want to know who's driving. Like, who's driving our city council? Who's driving my neighborhood? What's wrong with, us having a food desert one grocery store to go to and no Target? What's going on with us having no representation when it comes to filling our cars up with gas? Not one black gas station, not one gas station that has people in there that even look like us. What is really going on when streetlights are broken and you can't get anybody in touch? Why is the traffic diverted into our neighborhoods, into our black neighborhoods when something goes wrong? There's so many little questions that me as a green grass, I'm a layman, I'm not political, but I'm the person that it affects. So when I vote for you, I'm voting for you because I've seen into what you stand for, and it coincides with what I'm about. I see what both of my candidates look like. They're people of color, and they're also part of another community, which is our LGBTQ community plus, which even makes it better. So I'm really excited to be a part of this particular journey. I'm on board for you guys, and that's why, having you on the show and making sure that I can do whatever. This is my platform. I don't have much, but my platform I'm willing to share. I don't know if we've got Precious in the back room, but if she isn't, we're going to pay some bills, and then we're going to come back and continue within the basement with Mclemore. Katie, are you there? Sometimes she's not, guys. So sometimes I just go to the cut, are you there? And then
well, I did get it. Bryant, just so you know, I texted Precious and I was wondering if she was able to make it. And unfortunately, she was not able to make it. So she will not be joining us tonight. But she does want to be on your show, she said.
Okay, all right. Miss Katie, Precious could not make the show, but can we pay some bills, my dear?
We sure can. Hold on. We can pay some bills. Let's start off with your friend. What's his name? Maceo.
Okay, let's do Maceo photo. He's been the first supporter of my show the whole time I've been on the air. I love that you guys have the poker face. Jaylin, you and Sergio have the face what? Just looking like true politicians. Whatever they're gonna ask next, you're like, okay, let me see where y'all coming from.
You silly.
All right, I'm ready. We're still here.
Inspired by capturing people in their natural state, James Washington is Maceo's Photo, a Chicago-based photography studio specializing in portraits, headshots, weddings, lifestyle, and commercial photography. Contact James Washington at 708-568-1421 or hit him up on the website at maceosphotos.net. That's MACEOPHOTO.net. James Washington, Maceo's Photo.
All right.
Hi, this is Katie Doe. Have you ever thought about embracing your UNES? Well, you should. Dr. Eunice Sanders has created UNES Essential Oils designed with you in mind. Dr. Eunice Sanders Essential Oils is an experience that will leave you saying, I've experienced the rest. Now I've experienced the best. Available at Bonte Sankey's Health Food Store, High Park, 1512 East 53rd Street.
Hey there.
Also brought to you by The Armor Group, Dr. Regina Armor. The Armor Group at www.armorgrp.net. That's The Armor Group.
Right on. Thank you so much to our sponsors who have sponsored my show from the beginning. As everybody knows, this is another show you can donate to. I want you to donate to those candidates, sponsor one of the episodes of In the Basement with Mclemore, and tell us again who we're punching, and then we're going to go on to some entertainment. Sergio, what are we punching? Is it 73?
That's right. For punch 73 for me. Punch 73 for me.
And Jaylin?
Yes, punch 121 for Jaylin D. McClinton. For Cook County.
And Mr. McClinton, Jaylin, I practiced your name over and over last night.
Yes. McClinton.
Hey, there's McClinton. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got our little a friend of mine who is an entertainer and a guitar player and a songwriter and actress, Miss Charmaine DuPont, and she is going to be performing for us along with our second performer if she comes on. Hey there, Charmaine. We can't.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? Hey, Bryant, Katie, your guests. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Pride Month. Happy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. Can you hear me, Bryant?
No, your audio's out.
Oh, is it?
No, Charmaine, you're fine. I can hear you.
Okay.
I think it might be
I
Brian.
think Brian.
Hi, Katie.
I think Brian has turned his. I think Brandon turned his microphone off. Look at him; he just smiling. Yeah. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. No, we don't want to do sign language. We can't hear you. No. You know what, Charmaine?
Can you hear
While
me?
I try to contact Bryant, girl, why don't you rip it off with a song? And I'm going to send him a message. Why don't you sing? I mean, it doesn't make sense to waste this good time.
Okay.
Okay, I'll contact him.
Okay. As I was listening to the candidates, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
As I was listening to the candidates, this song just came to mind. You know, there's so many things going on in the world today. And your position of leadership is very difficult because the world has gotten to a place where everything's just crazy and we got to bring some normality to it all. But we can't do a thing without faith in God. Now, faith. It is the substance of things that is hopeful and the evidence of things not seen. Faith. Where is your faith? See, I'm talking about that mustard seed. Faith. Gotta have it. Come on with it. Show the Lord, show me your faith. Well, I know it's like he loves us. I know that he is. And I know in this I know when he's my deliverer. This I know that he is. See, I know him, this I know him. He's a way out of no way maker. I know he is. And I know this I know him. He's my deliverer. And I know well, I'm talking about Jesus, he's my King, and he's my son, Lord of all things. I know well, I know this, I know he's my joy. Well, I know and I know this, I know he's my strength. Oh, yes, I know that he is, I know that he is, I know that he is. See, I know him, this I know him, I can call on him. Jehovah, Shalom, Shalom. And I know this, I know him, he's my redeemer. Oh, and I know that he is. He bled, he died, and he rose again. I know he did. I know it's the Lord. Well, the Lord, he's coming back. Well, I'm talking about Jesus is my King, and he's Master, Lord of all things. Oh, but you gotta know, you know, really know what you're doing. That is, I know that my daddy is. Let me tell y'all something. Moses knew it and Abraham too. Hey, no, call any animals. Well, I'm talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 3 Hebrew boys up in the fire burn. What they know about faith. Glory, glory, faith. Well, Ruth knew about it, David. Something else to do. Oh, brother, hey, sister, tell me how about you did have some faith. Oh, faith. Daniel said the lion's den. And the Lord, he will deliver us just like he delivered him. Oh, but you gotta have some faith.
Yes.
All by faith. It's impossible to please God without faith, and he is in control.
Thank you so much, Charmaine. Is my sister. I so love you. Give us a couple of minutes. Tell us what your plans are, Charmaine. I know you're planning a big move. Why don't you give me a little bit about that?
I'm walking blind. I wrote a song about it. It's called A New Life Waiting for Me.
Yes.
And with each and every one of us, especially post-COVID and with everything that's going on in the world today, as you walk by faith and not by sight, just kind of step out in everything that you are. Realize your purpose. Like you said, stretch out. Learn who your alderman person is. Learn who the male person is. We are so far between connecting with one another.
Yeah.
So I have written a lot of music and done a lot of things, and I'm finally going into my dream of moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and retiring and changing my entire career.
Wow.
And just working basically on music and acting. I have a lot of stuff on there. It's important to be everything that you are. Every gift that God gave you, use it up while you're living. Don't leave out of here empty, And we all have something to offer. I don't care who you are, where you came from. If you connect with the manufacturer, which is Jesus Christ, then you'll learn who you are, and you can just step out on faith. All it is following the principles and the rules. And, so I'm going to Nashville. I don't know anybody, but I'll meet Dolly. I'm
right.
But all by faith. You got to speak it. You got to believe it. And, you got to know that you know that you know.
Right. I'm so excited for you. That's going to be a big venture, and I can't wait to come and.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for this at this time. I've been waiting a very, very long time for it, but I thank God for the process.
Yeah.
The process to everything. If you're going to do something great, you got to go through the process.
Yeah. And I want you to hang around for a minute. I want to find out if Sam is on, who was our young guitar player. I don't know if she's been in the back room, but before I say that, I want to thank Jaylin McClinton for being on the show. He has another engagement that's probably going to pop out of the back room. And also, Sergio, why don't you give a little bit of an introduction and an exit for Precious? Because she couldn't be on the show. So if you, Katie, will you unmute Sergio so we can hear him?
Well, Precious, she's become a good friend of mine on this campaign, and I've been very excited to even support her. This weekend, we were on the north side in Andersonville Fest, kind of politicking together and sharing some information with people. This next weekend, we have Pride Fest in the North Halstead area that we're once again sharing a booth with Samantha Steele and Dan Bailoff. And Precious is up to be the first Black trans elected official in the state of Illinois.
Yes.
For the MWERD, the Municipal Water Reclamation District, which is extremely important. That's the water from Lake Michigan. We want to make sure that it's clean, it stays clean, that everyone gets fresh drinking water. And she's absolutely committed to doing so. Right now, not many people know, but she works for the Sierra Club. So she's an environmentalist. She's a proven environmentalist who also happens to be a beautiful Black trans woman. She knows her stuff when it comes to the environment. The other stuff is just extra.
Yes. Well, that's Precious, Brady. And what is Precious's number? How do we go for her?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I'm going to have to send that one to you just a minute.
Yeah, so I'll put it out on the book because I actually thought I had it, but I don't have it here right in front of me. But I just wanted to, I know, Sergio, you and her have been running hand in hand, and I know you're Punt 73. I know Punt 73 for me.
That's right. She's Precious. Her website is Precious Brady-Davis. Precious Brady-Davis, no dots or anything, but preciousbrady-davis.com. And that will have all her information. I know she's like you. She's also an author and wrote a book about Precious that I have always been me. She tells a wonderful story about her life. She grew up in foster care. And when you and I met, the day you and I met, she talked about a story where, she met her birth mother.
Yes,
her birth mother had told her, I never wanted you. And at the young age, here's this young age, she just kind of looked at her mom and was like, well, you're about to make the mistake of your life. And now look at her making history, an acclaimed author. She's also an actress. She's been in Showtime and some other films. And now she's also making sure that we have clean drinking water here in the state, which is, we need drinking water. I mean, it's crazy that.
Water. We do. So excited about her. She said she got back in the car and slammed the door in her mother's face and went on about her life at 5 years old. And I remember that story so good. I'm glad that I'm sorry she wasn't able, but we'll have her back on the show, and I'll make sure that you guys go to my site and you'll be able to see how to vote and how to punch. Do we have any more entertainers in the back room, Katie? Because I want to thank Sweet Production. And the chief executive officer is Lakeisha Sweet. She's the young lady that does the filming behind the scenes that was there with me at Lamont Robinson's mixer for you guys. You can reach Sweet if you need a production done or you need somebody to film your upcoming event. You wanted to come out and do some videography or take still photos of you. You can reach her at allsweetproductions@gmail, and that's AH:/sweetproductions@gmail.com. She's available 24 hours, but she's normally from 10 to 5. Her phone number is 773-431-2489. That's 773-431-2489. And that is Sweet Production. So, Sweet, I thank you so much. She comes out and has been influential in following me around at the last minute, like making sure that I get footage. So, Sergio, I will have some footage of you as well to be able to share with you as soon as it's been edited and mixed down. So, brother, I'm going to make sure that you are a brother after my own heart. I love you so much and what you're standing for. And stay tuned. I think we got another song coming up. Do we have Sam in the back room? We're almost out of time. We still got another 9 minutes or 19 minutes or something. So if Samantha's not in the back, we're going to bring Charmaine back. Katie, is Sam or anybody else in my back room?
Not at this time.
Thank you so much. We're going to have my good friend Charmaine. Charmaine, if you wouldn't mind, could you please do A New Life Waiting for Me?
Do what?
A New Life is Waiting for Me. Sergio, this should speak to you as well.
Already know I got moves to make. I'm stepping out on the weekend. Already know there's something better out there for me. My destiny is for me. A new life's waiting for me. Yeah. I'm skipping out of this one horse town. They gon' look up and I'll be nowhere around. I'm stepping out in a brand new place. All I got to say is gonna love me, yeah. And this place is for me. This place, my destiny. A new life's waiting for me. Grace and mercy, they follow me. For years and years, see, I've been waiting for this. Time is right and I just can't miss. Work so hard, I'm gonna bring it down. Wow! Divine connections are now. Come on, bring it to me right now. Freedom, 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 take it out. Freedom, 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 take it out. For years and years, see, I've been waiting for this. God's time is right and I just can't miss no. Work real hard, I'm gonna bring it down. Pow! Divine connections are now. Oh, they're right now, right now, right now, yeah. No more fears, all by my faith, you see. All I gotta know is angels are rolling with me. All I gotta say is you can do it too. Just speak your destiny, it's all up to you. But this one's for me, my destiny is for me. A new life's waiting for me. Yeah. My enemies, my grounders, my houses, my home, they looking for me. A new life's waiting for me. New life, got a brand new life is waiting for me. Brand new joy, brand new happiness, brand new start is waiting for me. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's Charmaine.
Go get your new life, y'all.
Yes, get your new life. And Charmaine, I am so pleased with you. And, you know, I can't let you go without doing my favorite, but I just want to say this to everybody. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. And whatever the things that you have never done before doesn't mean you can't do them. You just got to step out the boat, Peter, with that now faith, that Peter faith, that where you can walk on water. And we're all walking on water. There's a bunch of new things waiting. And that song I'd like to adopt as my alma mater. Sergio, I told you it will resonate with you because you know that's right on time. And she's always willing and able for acting gigs, and you know, to hire Charmaine. I want to make sure that I make sure that they can
website. I could have a website that you can go to.
Okay, what is it?
It's Charmaine DuPont. Don't put an I in the name. It's CHARMANE DuPont, DUPONT, one word.com.
Yes. And Charles Barton and Honey Don, I saw your comments. Thank you so much for always tuning into your friend's show. I couldn't answer while you guys were going on. But I want to thank my guests, but I'd like, and Sergio, thank you for hanging out with me, brother. You're like my co-host today, so we got one more. If I could beg Charmaine to do How Glad I Am, then we're going to let her take our show out. And I want to thank my sponsors and everybody who tuned in today. And we're going to make sure that you guys tune in next month for In the Basement with Mclemore. I actually becoming a Doty brother next month in July. I've given you all the information for the Black Pride. And if you go back to look at this show on YouTube, you can find out where Sergio is going to be with Precious and what booth they're going to be at. So, well, this show will air on YouTube just in a couple of hours, about 4 hours. You can go back to In the Basement with Mclemore and see the show. So, without further ado, we're going to let our girl Charmaine take us out with her favorite song that she does. Well, one of my favorites. Sergio, see if you like this, brother. We'll see if we right here. Go ahead, sister.
My love is no beginning, my love has no end. No front to back in my love, baby. I'm in the middle. Lost in the speed. Loving you. And you don't know how bad. My love is on the bottom, my love is on top. My love will rise, my love won't drop. I'm in the middle. I can't stop loving you. You don't know how glad I am. Yeah. Oh, well, I wish I walk right up and I can get a picture. How I feel today, oh, and I won't hold it. I could express what I like to say. That makes my love wider than mine. I'm in the middle. No, I can't. I love you, and I love you and you too, yeah. Oh, and you don't know. Oh, you don't know how glad I am, how glad I am, how glad I am. You don't know. Well, you don't know how glad I am, how glad I am.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is none other than Charmaine DuPont. And this has been like an amazing show. I called it Playing with Politics, but these brothers are very serious. Jaylin McClinton for Cook County Commissioners. We've got my good friend Sergio. That's Punch 73 for me. And of course, Precious Brady-Davis, who couldn't be on the show, but she's still here in spirit. And thank you, Lamont Robinson, for introducing me to these people at the mixer. And what do you have, Charmaine DuPont?
One more thing for your politicians. I do have a gun violence song. I call it the National Gun Violence Song that can kind of lead and get people riled up about the violence that's going on. And it features Father Michael L. Flager. It's called You'll Never Be an Unsung Hero. And I feel like even though these people that have lost their loves to gun violence, these people want their loved ones to be remembered more than anything.
Yeah.
You can't bring them back, but they want to be remembered and be accounted for that they lost their lives to this violence. So maybe use it on your campaigns or, kind of get
Sergio,
it out.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that you and Sergio touch. Katie, can you unmute Sergio?
Oh, I'm unmuted. I'm here.
Hi. Yeah, no, I couldn't hear you. You had a
Oh,
big microphone on
okay.
your face. So,
Yeah.
Sergio, are there any last words that you'd like to say? First of all, I really, really appreciate you taking an hour out of your time to come on to the show. I'm so impressed with you and so pleased with what you're doing. And whatever the outcome is, you got a support of In the Basement with Mclemore, and
Mhm.
everybody that listens and watches my show can always come here and find out what's going on with Sergio.
All right. Well, representation matters. It matters in so many ways, shapes, colors, and forms of who we are. And it's really important that when we can speak for ourselves, we don't need people to speak for us. And there's a lot of us that are well educated who can make a difference. And the system hasn't necessarily allowed us to have a voice, but when possible, please step up. Run for something. You know, we can't do this ourselves. So many young people out there today don't realize how much work went into them, especially people of color, especially queer people of color. So much work has gone in for them to have the freedoms that they have today. You can see what's going on in the nation. Our freedoms are under attack. They're coming for Roe versus Wade. They're coming for us next. You can't say gay in certain places. So if we don't really step up and make sure that we have a pipeline, like young people like Jaylin and others that are coming up, we have to support them. We support us when we support them, the young folk. So we have to make sure that there's a pipeline and keep it moving and keep it moving. We can't just rest on our laurels. The battle's not over. We might not even be halfway through yet.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. So you heard it first here. So let nobody say that like Bryant is not trying to get smarter about the process. I'm really, really enthralled in the process, and I want to make myself better and more astute to what matters to me, what matters to me as a homeowner, what matters to me as a Black gay
Yeah,
man living in
yeah,
America, what matters to me in the workforce, what matters to me as far as education and healthcare. So we were just talking about just some of the minor things. We'll talk about water. We need to have water, like clean,
yeah.
fresh water to drink. Otherwise, you see what happened to Flint, Michigan. They still drinking dirty water. 5 years
Right.
later, they're still drinking dirty water. So without further ado, I thank you all. Charmaine DuPont, my friend, my love, and the star of the show. Thank you so much for always tuning in. You are
Thank you for
so
having me. Thank you so much for having me. I
you're so
appreciate it.
amazing. And you got more comments. Charles and Don and Lori and everybody's commenting on how amazing you sound today.
Yes.
Those are words
Thank
that you
you.
just couldn't see. So without further ado, we're gonna put that extra song on. And until next month, you guys have been tuning in with In the Basement with Mclemore, where the truth comes out. I'm your host, Bryant Mclemore Smith. And if you're feeling like nobody cares and nobody loves you, we got a hug and some
Mm.
laughter waiting here for you. Stay tuned for that last thing. Go ahead, Katie.
In this world of ups and downs, we need a quality change of life. Races coming together, and the ending of on strife. Little with changing roads, children too cold. So dear, it's so cold, but there's a story to be told. Bring back the good times. Bring back the midnight summer walks in the park. Good times. Bring back the love that we shared. Just live this life in this nation that we live. Oh yes, we need a quality change of life. Parties fighting, they're so different, but they're compromising human life. Wars and rumors of wars overseas, terrorism and disease. It's so bitter, so cold, but there's so much to be told. Bring back the good times. Won't we bring back the midnight summer walks in the park? Where are my good times? Bring back the love that we shared. Just to live this life. Where are the talks on the telephone? Where are the family gatherings? Where are the hugs and the kisses that we know? Tell me where's the love? Where's the love that we used to know? Bring back the time. Bring back the midnight sun, the walks in the park. Where are the good times? Bring back the love that we shared. Just to live this life. I wanna live my life. What about my life, my life? Clean water in my life. Education in my life, my life. My life, my life, my life. Oh, Lord. I don't want to be taxed with this and taxed with that, Lord. What about my life, my life? Oh, more love, more peace in my life, oh, my life. I want more Jesus in my life. Oh, that song can go on and on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well,
we're out of time. We're out of time, Charmaine. Thank you so much, Sergio.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
And until next time, like I said, I'll keep you guys abreast with what Sergio. I'm gonna get in Sergio's back pocket, so where he shows up, people will be like, "Dang, dude, are you
All right
again?"
I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, this has been In the Basement with Mclemore, and I'm your host, Bryant Mclemore Smith. Bye-bye.
Need a friend, or someone to lend an ear. Are you having a cloudy day? Has it rained on your parade? We're in the basement.